Having placed in my mouth sufficient bread for 3 minutes' chewing, I withdrew my powers of sensual perception and retired into the privacy of my own mind, my eyes and face assuming a glazed and preoccupied expression. I reflected on the subject of my spare-time literary activities. One beginning and one ending for a book is a thing I do not agree with. A good book may have 3 beginnings entirely dissimilar and interrelated only in the prescience of the author, and for that matter 100 times as many endings.
So begins the novel At Swim Two Birds by Flann O'Brien, one of the most original writers of his time, who died in Dublin on April the 1st, 1966. He published 4 other novels: The Hard Life, The Dalkey Archive, The Third Policeman, and An Béal Bocht, regarded as a modern classic in the Irish language. An Béal Bocht appeared under the pseudonym of Myles na gCopaleen, which he used for his famous column in the Irish Times, a column which delighted many thousands of readers for more than a quarter of a century. His first novel, At Swim Two Birds, was out of print for over 20 years before being republished in 1960. He began the book during our last year together at University College in 1934. Our friends at that time in college included such notable people as Dennis Devlin, Cyril Cusack, Donna MacDonagh, and Charlie Donnelly, who was afterwards killed in Spain. He showed me various sections of the novel as it progressed, and when he had completed it, I told him it was too long. So he said, if you feel that way, you can cut it yourself. And I was left with the job of doing some editing on it before it went to the publisher in 1939. At Swim Two Birds is a complex and superbly original work, now widely recognised as a comic masterpiece. The basic plot, if such a feeble word is permissible, concerns a university student who is writing a novel about one Dermot Trellis, who is himself in turn engaged in composing a moralistic work of fiction, using to illustrate his theme an assortment of characters drawn from legend, imagination, and the works of other writers. The musings of the student author are subject to frequent interruption by his uncle, with whom he lives.
A good book may have 3 openings, entirely dissimilar and interrelated only in the prescience of the author, or, for that matter, 100 times as many endings.
It's a great pity that you don't apply yourself to your studies. Tell me this, do you ever open a book at all?
Description of your uncle?
Bead-eyed, ball-bellied, large moustache, holder of Guinness clerkship, the 3rd class.
Tell me this, do you ever open a book at all?
I do.
Well, Faith, I never see you at it. I never see you at your studies at all.
I work in my bedroom.
Aren't you very fond of your bedroom now? Why don't you study in the dining room here, where the ink is? Boys, you make a great secret about your studies.
I prefer my bedroom. It is more convenient. My books are there. I prefer to work in my bedroom.
A boy of your age who gives himself up to sloth, what in God's name is going to happen to him when he goes out in the world? Tell me this, do you ever open a book at all?
I open several books every day.
You open your granny.